Hello, nice to see you. It's been a while since I've been in here. We've been moving. We're in a new location now in Tubac, Arizona. My husband and I, the last couple of weeks. So we're in the middle of the moving situation. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time in here with you today because I've been getting some email messages and IMs from women about feeling like they don't know what to decide. They don't know if they should stay with their partner, if they should initiate a split. They're in this place of indecision. And this is super common. And one of the reasons why, which we're going to talk about here more in just a minute, is because you're looking to find comfort in your decision. So you're looking to find that ease by the decision that you make, right? So I don't know which decision to make. I don't know what thing is going to be best, because the thing that is going to be the best thing is the thing that's going to produce a sense of ease or comfort, right? And by design, things that grow you are going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be a feeling of discomfort, of fear, and of anxiety. And so trying to figure out if you should stay with this partner, if you're having an affair, if you should continue and grow a relationship with your affair partner or go back to your marriage, right? Both of those things are going to feel really hard because you're playing out these two different realities. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to have a sip of my tea while you enjoy the lovely tree behind me. Look how beautiful. It's really dry here in Southern Arizona, so I'm very dehydrated, so I have to make sure to drink a lot. Anyway, so for those of you who don't know me, my name's Jenny Glick. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a certified sex therapist, but I really work now more as a mentor. I don't work in the therapy space any longer, not because therapy's not amazing, it is, but because I really work with a particular segment of woman who has done a lot of therapy, has a lot of insight, and is in a place where she's ready to embody her knowing. She's in a place where she recognizes, she sees where it is that she's putting herself in what I think of as like a mental jail, where you make it impossible for yourself to make any decision at all. So you're frozen, so you don't move the dial in any way. And when I say embodied, what I mean is that it's my job to walk you in a granular way from where you are to where you want to be. So helping you shift your emotional states, the beliefs that you're anchoring in, the thoughts that you're telling yourself, uncovering the beliefs that are keeping you stuck, that you're defaulting into, right? Because that level of shift and transformation is necessary for you to embody this higher version of yourself, right? Like I call it your highest potential. It's that version of you, that future self version of you that is able to make decisions. So if you're one of the women who's messaged me recently and said, you want to be able to make a decision in your life, but you don't know what's the best decision, a piece of that might be because you haven't learned how to really trust yourself. You haven't learned how to listen to yourself. You're not keying into where it is that you're on a growth trajectory, right? I really come at this from a spiritual lens in that we're all here to grow. We're here to become versions of ourselves that are lighter, that are brighter, that are more loving, more compassionate, more patient, more able to hold a boundary, to have a standard, to ask for what we want, right? To continue to grow and mature so that as we age, we really embody a wisdom, about life. And in order to do that, it means that we have to have a relationship with ourselves. So if you're here with me live, please feel free to type in the chat below. Ask any questions that you might have. If you're here on replay, #replay, and feel free to post any questions or comments. I read all of the comments and would love to hear your voice and any thoughts that this might bring up for you or questions that you might have. So having that relationship with yourself is incredibly important. And many of us, especially as women, we have learned not to have that relationship with ourselves. We have learned to put other people before us, our partners, our children, our work, the elders that we're caring for, our neighbors, our communities, our civic responsibilities. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I work with women who are at a place in their life where they recognize that they have been not allowing themselves to be the full expression of themselves in their own relationships. Usually women come to me because of their intimate partnership. However, what they find is that as they start up-leveling themselves to 2.0 in the intimate sphere, that starts to shift in their business as well. They recognize where they're not running the business, their own business, the way that they want. They're not asking for what they want with the company that they work for. And so it's my great privilege to help them expand and click into, I really think of it as clicking into this version of you that knows that you get to experience intimacy, worth, love, compassion. And here's the tricky wicket of the whole thing, is that you will be learning how to do that through the container of your relationship that you have presently created, right? So I'm not a magician, right? You show up to me with the version of reality that you have been practicing. So you are in the particular marriage, divorce, separation, dating situation, single situation. Most recently, one of my graduates, she is a widower, and her relationship that she was working on during our time together was mostly about her with her and her with her adult children, because they follow a very similar model. Until you are able to really prioritize yourself, listen to yourself. And when I say prioritize, sometimes women get a little wonky with me with that. Like, I have all these obligations, or I have to, who's going to take care of everything if I don't do it? And that's not what I mean in terms of prioritization, like materially, though it may be that. It's learning to listen to yourself instead of self-abandoning over and over and over. Self-abandoning sounds like you saying, well, that won't work because, or I can't do that because of this, or this will never happen for me. And as soon as you do that, you back yourself into this mental jail, right? And you're being an advocate for the problem rather than an advocate for the solution. So part of the work that I do with women is to help them recognize where it is that they keep putting themselves in jail. So first we have to see that, where we put ourselves in this 1.0 place. And usually in the 1.0 place, what we're doing is we're looking outside of us for affirmation so that we will feel more relaxed, more loved, more connected. So we're looking for that externally. So that's 1.0. It often comes with a lot of codependency, a lot of old programming from your family of origin. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what we're here to alchemize. That's what we're here to move through, okay? And even when you move into 2.0, and this 2.0 perspective is one where you are practicing listening to yourself and then taking a stand, being a stand for yourself by speaking. And when I say being a stand, that's not like an FU energy. It's literally listening and then speaking anew to your partner, being willing to spend 10, 15, 20 minutes with yourself in silence in the morning, noticing if you need a nap and then following through with that rather than dropping into the martyr energy. Right. And so when I work with my clients, I'm right there with them and we're strategizing. Okay, how are you going to do this in your life given the demands that you have, the container that you come in with, right? So if you don't know how to listen to yourself and then respond in an embodied way, you are probably repeatedly abandoning yourself. And then you're looking for your partner, your spouse, your lover to close the gap in you, help you feel enough, help you not feel abandoned, which is what you're perpetrating against yourself. Does that make sense? So we look outside of ourselves for the kind of care and love that we're often not giving ourselves. And that care and love and attention is really intimate and it's very subtle. And as you start creating that care in here and listening and attending to, then you're able to show up and make decisions because you're listening to yourself. You're practicing trusting yourself about smaller things so you can trust yourself about bigger things like, do I stay in this relationship or not? If you're not willing to practice trusting yourself on small things like initiating a conversation, like asking for a raise with your business or with your clients, or stepping out professionally in new ways that might be uncomfortable, but where you're really listening to your own heart and then you act on it. If you're not doing that in other realms of your life, to build that musculature, right? Those are like smaller weights to lift so that you can have that musculature to stand on when it's time to decide if you should stay in a relationship or not, right? It's kind of bananas that the first weight that you would lift is one that's 500 pounds. That's like deciding about a marriage, right? If I'm going to stay or not. Let's start with like 5 pounds. Initiating a tough conversation, setting a boundary around something, practicing not getting hooked in to conflict, learning how to unhook yourself from codependency, practicing not taking it personally, practicing curiosity instead of defense, right? So all of those things are ways of caring for yourself, of listening to yourself so that you can do and make the bigger decisions in life. Make sense? So you have to learn how to let yourself out of the mental jail that you put yourself in, liberate yourself from the old practice conditioned toxic way of thinking, emotional stating. So the emotional state that you park yourself in, beliefs and actions. And that's what I do in my 8-week experience with women. And it's just remarkable because when we can shift into a 2.0, and then your invitation is to continue to grow, right? Continue to practice that beyond the 8 weeks. When you do that, what happens is everything starts shifting. You are the vector for it. You are the catalyst for it. Nobody's going to do it for you but you. And many of us, I know myself, as I've done this work and other, work, I have a mentor to help me so I can lean into it. Because when I start getting out of my comfort zone, the first thing I want to do is collapse into my old beliefs, which are usually around scarcity, not enoughness, overwhelm, right? Practicing internal overwhelm, like why even bother? I don't even want to start. This is too hard. This is fine. It's good enough, right? And all of that is what has created our present situation. So release yourself from that mental place, from that mental jail. Please post your questions, your comments below, #replay if you're here on the replay. I will be in here next week. Some of you will be celebrating some holidays if you're here in the US, and I will look forward to seeing you over the month of December as well. This is a rich time to do relationship work. This is a rich time to practice. So I invite you to practice noticing where it is that you put yourself in a mental jail. A mental jail will feel stuck. It will feel like everything's impossible. Nothing's going to change. There's nothing I can do. Why bother creating overwhelm for yourself, creating confusion for yourself? All of that puts you in this cell cage, right? And the crazy thing is the door is wide open. You could leave if you want, but when you leave, it's scary because it's the big, big world of possibility, right? And those of you who have followed me for a long time know one of my very favorite quotes, when things are uncertain, everything is possible. Margaret Drabble, right? And so we want to contract from that and go back into the known. So if you are interested in learning more about my 8-week relationship mastery program that takes you from a place of confusion to confidence, from uncertainty to clarity so that you can stand in that trusting place, please DM me, email me, reach out to me. We can have a conversation, see if you're a fit. And if you are, amazing. Would love to have you. And for those of you who are on my list, if you're not on my list, I'm going to stick the link for my list on here. I'm going to run for the very first time a Thanksgiving Black Friday special next week. And so look for that if you are new to me and have been wanting to find a way to dip into what I offer. Get on my email list so that you can be the first to have that. That's going to be an offer that's only open for 24 hours and would love to have you there. I'm going to catch this comment before I leave. Thank you. It's been a rough few days, and I just in the middle of that hopped in the tub to wash away anxiety and center myself, and this message is needed. Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. For some of us, I mean, I'm an advocate of community and having other women arm in arm that we can do this with, because when we are doing this kind of internal transformation, this kind of shifting in ourselves, it's really important to not feel alone and to have voices that we can lean into, especially when we're having a rough few days, because you're not alone. And this is the good work of lifetime transformation. And transformation is lifetime. Like, don't think that you're going to cross the finish line and it's all over. What happens is you get to 2.0, and then there's the 3.0 and 4.0. And you just continue to and it's not linear like that. I talk about it like that, but it's not linear, right? It's a spiral. But we get into a more elevated space, right? And in that more elevated space, we also start bumping into new thresholds, new limitations, right? And that's good and right and appropriate. That's how we grow. Just like for those of you who have children or who have been other mothers for children, you know that children master one level of development, and then there's another one, and then there's another one, right? And that's how it goes. It's not linear, but there's an expansion that happens. So thank you so much for your comment. Thanks for being here. Thanks for doing the good work. I will look forward to seeing you next time.